Hello, I'm Victor Cuevas, and I want to talk to you about fixed index annuities. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to make a video on this subject is because of the way the stock market has been acting in the last several months. Now, this century, the 21st century, has been absolutely crazy when it comes to the stock market and to the economy. We've had two major recessions, one severe recession in 2008. And when the stock market goes down, it invariably goes back up again. But in 2008, we saw a severe downturn in the market. And it just, the second time in a few years. And it really shook people up, and it shook the markets up. And a lot of things have changed since 2008. Now, the market has recovered, and it did well. But this past August, we had another major drop in the stock market. I mean, it's around 18,000, and all of a sudden it's down in the 15,000 range. Of course, in the last 30 days, we've seen the market come up 1,200, 1,300 points. But that roller coaster ride is gut-wrenching anymore for most people. And it doesn't seem like the market is any more predictable than it was 10 years ago. So people, even though the market is recovering a little bit, even though the market has done well in the last few years, people are just at a point now where they can't trust it. They're very apprehensive. Now we have many people out there writing books or trying to sell subscriptions to their newsletters by trying to scare the pants off of everybody about what could happen. And I'm not saying something bad can happen in the economy down the road. I'm just saying that it's caused a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of people just really not sure where to turn or whether they should be in the stock market or not. So in the last year and a half, I've been watching these things and joined an organization called Safe Money Network, and it's an organization started by a person in the insurance and investment world for a long time. And it's really dedicated to coming up with safe money strategies, ways you can grow your money but not lose it, not have to worry about losing it, not have any stress. Of course, if you're saving for the future, for your retirement, you need to have some growth. But most people really are at a point where they don't want to lose any money or very little. So what are the alternatives out there where you can make some money and keep your retirement safe at the same time? Well, fixed index annuities is one of those products. They've been around for a while, but one of the innovations that's come aboard with them in the last couple, 3 years are these riders, or these options that you can add to them that basically create a private pension, like a private pension, and it grows your money every year, guaranteed, and it could grow quite substantially. So let me give you a quick rundown on the fixed index annuity, and then I'm going to follow up with a video about a very specific index annuity that I think is going to be appropriate for many people that are looking to retire in the next few years. Now, when you see this term, fixed index annuity, it's a hybrid of fixed annuities. Now, fixed annuities are insurance instruments where you put your money into it, and the insurance company will give you a guaranteed interest rate for maybe 3 years or 5 years or 7 years. Or sometimes the interest rate is guaranteed for 1 year, and then it fluctuates, every year thereafter. And they're designed like CDs. If you put your money in a CD at the bank, it may be a 5-year CD, it could be a 3-year CD. The bank says, I'll give you this much interest every year, and at the end of the 3 years, you can pull your money out, or you can roll it over into a new CD. Of course, when you put it into a CD, you have to leave it in there for that period of time, otherwise you get a penalty when you draw it out. Well, annuities work in a similar fashion in that you put your money in with the insurance company, and they promise you a certain interest rate, and it's going to be much better than the banks over that period of time. And another great advantage of an annuity is that the interest is tax deferred. So while you're earning the money on the interest, you don't pay any taxes on it. Unlike a CD, whatever income you earn is reported to the IRS and you pay taxes on it. And as you know, CDs are paying nothing. So you practically pay nothing, earn nothing, and then you got to pay taxes on whatever little you earn on it. So CDs aren't really a good growth vehicle anymore. But a fixed annuity can grow at 3 or 4% on a guaranteed basis if it's a CD type annuity, and you don't pay any interest on that, any taxes on that interest until the day you get ready to use it. Now, when you throw in indexed, that means that the interest that the insurance company pays you is determined by a stock index, like the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones Industrial. So what happens is your money is not, I repeat, is not invested in the stock market. It continues to be very safe, just like a fixed annuity, and that is guaranteed that you can't lose money. But you have the opportunity to earn more interest than with a normal fixed annuity. So let's suppose that the interest that's credited to your annuity is based on the S&P 500. Well, it might have a cap. A cap is the most you can make. They can't give you everything that the stock market gives you, but they can give you a portion of it. So if it's capped at 5%, and the stock market, the S&P index does 10%, then you'll just get the 5%. You won't get the whole 10%. You'll get the 5%. If the S&P index does 4% over that 12-year period, a 12-month period, you'll get the 4% because it's below the 5% cap. So you're not going to make money like the stock market will, but you can make a part of it and without risk. Now, if the next year the stock market goes down 20%, you don't lose any money. You just stay where you're at. So, what are some of the advantages of fixed indexed annuities? Well, they're safe. Very safe. You can't lose your money. And they're guaranteed. Guaranteed not to lose your money. And depending on the indexed annuity that you have, there are other guarantees involved that can work very, very well for you for your retirement. So those are some of the great advantages: safety and guarantee. Now, when you make money in an index annuity, as I was saying, let's suppose you're right here in year one, and the stock market goes up, and hey, you made some money. So from this point to this point right here is 1 year, and at the end of the year, the insurance company will look at the index and see what it did, and if it's positive, they credit you interest based on that index. However, they've decided in that particular index crediting method, whether it's a cap or whether it's a spread or whatever, how they're going to credit you that interest. So you get some interest. Now, the next year, let's suppose the stock market goes up again, and you get some more interest. Doesn't go up quite a bit, goes up a little bit here, and you get interest credit to you again. Now, I will remind you that this is true compounding interest. In other words, when the stock market goes up and down, it just goes up in value and it goes down in value. There's no compounding interest. There's no interest at all paid on it, unless it's the stocks are having their dividend paying stock and they get some interest, but that's built into the overall increase in the value of the stock. So the stock just goes up and down, and eventually you hope that it's going to end up higher one day. Compounding interest is you get paid an interest rate, and then next year that adds to your current cash value, and then next year you get interest added to that, and your value goes up and it stays right there, it doesn't go down, and then you get interest again and it's added to that. That's compounding interest, not what you see in the stock market. So compounding interest can be very, very powerful because your money just goes up. So here you have, from here to here, you had an increase in value. The index annuity locked in that value. You can't ever lose it. Then the following year, it went up again. It locks in again. You can't lose that money. That's why it's safe and guaranteed. Now, the next year, the stock market goes down. Now, if you would have had your money in the stock market, your account value would go down. But because you have it in an index annuity, it just stays the same. You haven't changed. You haven't lost any money. You haven't made any money. So someone down here that started in the stock market, he went up, and he went up, and now he came down. He's down here. You're up here. Now, the stock market goes up again, right? The following year, it had a down year, it goes back up. Well, it goes up not too much, maybe a little bit, to right here. Well, this person is still in the hole, but you went up. So you never go down. Here's one of the big advantages. When you're in the stock market and you go down in value, you've got to crawl out of that hole. Well, if it goes way down in value, like 20%, and can it do that? Yes, it can. And it comes up a little bit, you're still way down here, but here you are with an index annuity, you're up. You never go down in an indexed annuity, you always go up, right? So you'll see an index annuity go up, maybe go flat for 2 years, and go up again. But you'll see a stock market down like this, down, you know, so this is what gets people crazy sometimes, especially these days. This may not be sexy, but it gives you a ton of peace of mind, and you never have to worry about losing your money. Now, because of the two major downturns we had in the stock market in the last 15 years, believe it or not, many of these fixed index annuities have done better than if you would have had your money in the stock market. Now, there was no way of knowing 15 years ago that a lot of these fixed index annuities were going to beat the stock market. But the reason some of them did is because the money never went down. So in 2001 and 2002 and 2003, when the stock market was going down, that just stayed where it was at. And then when the market recovered, it went from the high point. So this is just a little idea in a nutshell what fixed index annuities are about, why they can be so valuable for some of your money. I mean, if you have $500,000, you might want to have $250,000 of it in a fixed index annuity, always growing, always moving forward. And if the stock market goes back, just stays where it's at, but you never lose any money. And the other 250, if you want to do different things with it, fine, but at least half of your nest egg, minimum, you know that nothing can happen to it. So, now, one other thing. This is your basic fixed index annuity. Now, some of these index annuities have what we call income riders, and they basically create a pension plan, if you want to call it that pay out for your life. And the way it goes is this. At each one of these points, not here, but every time it goes up, you have an increase in the value. And that's your true account value. That's what your money is really worth. But for some fixed index annuities, they have a different track that goes above this, which is actually the track that you can retire from. And it may go something like this. You make some money here, and when the stock market goes up, but then the index annuity will give you an extra 4, 5, or 6% on top of that. And said, that's for retirement. You can't walk away money in hand with it, but you can retire from it. In other words, you can draw income from that amount later on. Sometimes it's just a straight 7% a year for the next 10 years that they'll add to the original amount you put in no matter what the market does, and at the end of the 10 years, if the cash value is higher, you retire from that. If the guaranteed 7% is higher, you retire from that amount. So in other words, you have two tracks going, and the peace of mind is, hey, I know because of my alternative income track, like my little personal pension, I can calculate almost to the penny what I'm going to be retiring at in 10 or 15 years. Now, if the stock market does great, it'll just be gravy, but I know that my nest egg is going to grow at a certain amount no matter what. That's tremendous peace of mind. And people are just jumping all over those things because they want to know that they're going to have a certain amount of money and a certain amount of income 5, 10, 15 years down the road, and we can predict that with a fixed index annuity. So I hope that's been helpful. Make sure to watch the follow-up video to this that goes into one of the fantastic fixed index annuities out there that I think you're going to be very happy to look at, and it may be just what fits the bill for you. All right, again, this is Victor Cuevas, Victor for Advice. Thanks a lot, and hope to talk to you soon.